Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Warda Ali, and I will be going over the updated quarterly report process and the new performance workbook. There are three fundamental steps in the new process: inputting client data summaries directly into WebGrants, much like before, uploading the performance workbook into WebGrants, and uploading any supplemental documents into WebGrants. The primary difference between what was done and now is that agencies will receive a performance workbook, which will contain tabs for agencies to input more nuanced demographic data, performance metrics, outcomes, and their narrative statements. Once completed, these workbooks will be uploaded directly into WebGrants as an attachment, along with any supplemental documents. So the following gives a breakdown of the general client data information agencies will input directly into WebGrants. So as you can see, unduplicated participant count, family data, income limits, female head of household, race and ethnicity, and presumed benefit category counts will typically be included. I say typically because this template is for programs funded by CDBG. So depending on your program's funding source, the requested fields may look a little different. For example, here is the client data summary in WebGrants for a program funded by ESG. You can see that there are very specific asks, such as a checklist to mark the housing and services provided by the contract, as well as the total number of individuals and households receiving residential assistance. So that's followed by the total number served, broken up by individuals and households, the number of unduplicated adults and children served, and housing type. The report then goes into race and ethnicity, income limits, and female head of household counts, wrapping up with all the project funding sources allocated to the program. So once you've put all of the information into WebGrants, you will then have to upload the performance workbook. You will do that here in the section titled Attachments. It should be the first attachment, followed by any supplemental documents you have. So now we can go into what the workbook looks like. So the first tab will hold general information such as the invoices submitted. You can see that there's a drop-down menu here. And once all the tabs are completed, you will go ahead and go back to this first tab to complete the certification of completion prior to uploading. So the second tab will hold client data. And depending on the program and the analyst and how the analyst wants the information presented, this tab may vary in its design. So for example, an analyst may request information in the following way for each client or household served, input as a general data entry sheet. Alternatively, they may want to receive the information broken down in the following way. So comparing contracted goals to the actual number of unduplicated participants served, indicating participants who fall under a presumed benefit category, etc. It's important to remember that however the information is requested, the analyst will use these numbers to corroborate what was input directly into WebGrants as a part of the client data summary. The third tab is dedicated to the activities as listed in the executed contract. The analyst will provide a description of the activity, the unit of service, and what the contracted goal was. The agency will then furnish the actual amounts and indicate whether or not the goal was met. If the goal was not met, the agency will write a brief narrative explaining why the goal was not met, listing and describing any problems during project implementation, what the remediation plan was, and describing the progress of the remediation plan. The fourth tab is for outcomes and follows a very similar pattern to the activities tab. The agency will indicate the actual results of each outcome measure and discuss and interpret the results below. The fifth tab provides an opportunity for the agency to discuss any significant activities and/or milestones, any problems or obstacles encountered, plans for significant activities for the next reporting period, outreach efforts, and share the program's impact in the community. The final tab provides a quarterly update and checks in on things like receiving notification of new funding and or changes in existing funding, changes in personnel, program income, etc. Quarterly reports are typically due 10 calendar days after the end of each quarter. You should receive an email from the housing department prior to each report's due date and from your analyst with a prepared performance workbook for your program. We hope that this new method of submitting performance reports is simpler, more streamlined, and provides greater flexibility in customizing reporting to each agency and program. Thank you.